Let's start with Justin Verlander. The man is 40 years old, and he threw an 8-inning gem. Let's start with you, Dan. One word for Justin Verlander.
I would say he's a beast. I mean, he's the type of guy who gets stronger late in games, which he did last night, and late in his career. I mean, at this stage of his career, to be able to perform the way he is, he's a very professional pitcher. But he seems quiet. He's not as outwardly emotional like Max is, but you could tell that he has a fire to beat the other guy and the other team. And I really think that he's a beast.
Jack?
I'm going to go with terrifying, because the only guy that I can really liken a 40-year-old pitcher throwing 96 miles per hour down the gut as Randy Johnson. And Randy Johnson is just as terrifying as any starting pitcher comes. Verlander's performance last night was unbelievable. It was exactly what the Mets needed. And hopefully we get more and more of that throughout the year.
Yeah, that's exactly why they acquired him. All right, Jack. Max Scherzer. One word for him.
Improving is what I'll say. That's kind of a cop-out a little bit. But Scherzer's outing yesterday was definitely encouraging. You know, the velo was still kind of down, 92, but Max Scherzer looked vintage yesterday. His curveball looked awesome. And, I mean, the Mets are going to need him. They're going to need 6 innings out of him every time out to help out that bullpen and to be, you know, part of this 1-2 punch that's supposed to carry us.
Exactly. Dan?
I would say intense. I mean, that's what I get every time I see him. I love the shot of him in the dugout before the game starts, and he's just sitting there waiting to go. Every reaction he has on the mound, I just, as someone who have played sports, that's what I always wanted to be like. That's what I love to see. That's what Keith Hernandez was, which, I mean, if you really think about it, I've never seen any baseball player, let alone a pitcher, be as intense as Scherzer. I asked my father, who's been watching the Mets his whole life, and no one has ever seen someone as intense as Scherzer. And it's not bravado. He doesn't do it for show. He's that locked in for those 2 hours that he's pitching, and I really love watching him.
Kodai Senga. Dan, start with you.
It has to be the ghost. I mean, what other one word could it be for Senga? I think Senga really. You asked Jack earlier about the Rookie of the Year. I think he has a very good chance of winning Rookie of the Year. I know that because he had a professional career in Japan, he may not be thought of as a baby Met, but he really is. He's never pitched here. It's a new ball. Everything's new to him. So he really is a rookie. And the way he pitched last start was dominant. And I still think as the weather warms up and he gets more accustomed to the 5 or 6 days they're giving him and everything else about American baseball, I think he has potential to be dominant as the season wears on.
Yeah, it doesn't get more dominant than 12 strikeouts. All right, Jack, how about you? Kodai Senga.
Well, I was gonna say ghostly, but I guess I'll switch it up from Dan. I'll say exceptional, because I think what gets lost in yesterday's doubleheader and the dramatic win to start the Cleveland series is that I think Kodai Senga had the best start of anybody this week. 12 strikeouts in 6 innings against one of the most potent lineups in baseball, and that was when he had his A+ stuff, and that's exactly what the Mets paid for this offseason. I think a couple people scoffed at the notion of his contract and how much money it was. But I think the Mets realize how good Kodai Senga can be when he has his best stuff. And he's just been an absolute joy to watch so far. If he can keep those walks down, I agree with Dan. There's no reason why he can't win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. And Dan, your Ghost Fork logo has been seen everywhere, including by Kodai Senga or on Kodai Senga's head. How did you get that hat to him? And has he contacted you about it at all?
Yeah, actually, when I signed him and I first heard of the pitch, the first thing I did was I made a neon sign, an actual neon sign, and I sent it to Port St. Lucie when he got here. And he replied on Instagram DM, and then I used Google Translate to have a nice conversation with him. And ever since then, anytime I make a shirt or a hat, I always send a couple to the guys. And I have to say, it was very, very thoughtful. That not only does he wear it after the start, but he put this LF gem in his locker and he tilted it so it'd be seen by the camera. So he's a very thoughtful guy, and I've spoken to him and the translator on Instagram about getting them some more stuff, and I'm very grateful that he supports me that way.